Well, ratbags, it looks like Christmas is cancelled as the winter update, yes, won't be now arriving until after Christmas. I mean, to be fair, they never said an actual date, and winter does technically begin on like the 22nd, 23rd of December. But it does sound like after today's Casually Grounded, where there was a Q&A session with the devs answering a bunch of stuff, that they maybe or were gonna try and plan it before Christmas. I've got that news plus more details on it and what's going to go on in the future. But there will be a update in December, an Xmas themed update with new decorations and much needed improvements to performance, especially hopefully for players that struggle to get a decent FPS. Can't lie, I am a bit disappointed. Selfishly, it'd be great to have content in December, playing it all over the holidays while we've got time off, but it looks like the winter update won't be arriving now until early January. There's so much more to unpack though. Here we go with the complete breakdown. Let's go. So this is the one and only Casually Grounded left now until next year. Devs did acknowledge they've been really busy, obviously with Outworlds 2, charity streaming and more, but Chris and Marcus, the producer and game director of Grounded 2, basically did a Q&A session. And what I liked about this was they finally said they're going to start showing and talking a little bit more potentially about what actually is coming in these updates. I've been pretty critical saying that early access games, while we don't necessarily or can demand updates all the time because we know stuff takes a while, they could at least give us a bit of communication, show us some concepts, talk to us about what works, what doesn't work, to help them even before they start making the content. So they did iterate, they are going to start doing that a little bit more if we give them the right kind of feedback. For casual fans, you can just bounce off Grounded now, come back in January and there'll be a ton of content. For the hardcore that play it pretty much every week, or at least some stuff like this, if they can do just one little tease, one little screenshot, one little concept art once a week, or do more Q&A sessions, that's going to keep, hopefully, you a little bit more interested because you're still going to play Grounded anyway because you love it so much. So this feature update, which they're calling, these are going to be brand new, smaller updates that will happen in between the big content updates. So winter update is going to be a big content drop. It's going to be the garden. It's going to be the Ladybug Buggie. It's going to be a bunch of other stuff. They're still going to be the big feature updates we're going to get in winter and summer. And in between, they're calling them now feature updates that might be performance engine stuff, like upgrading to a new engine, giving us more FPS, or adding maybe themed content like this for holidays. I don't think they really should have called it that, but they did reference Axel was actually a feature update. So you never know, we may see like maybe just a tiny little addition that won't fall into some of the bigger, larger updates. And yeah, what you're seeing right now is the concept art, and it's coming. We're getting a brand new Christmas tree. The holiday tree was in Grounded 1 and it was a miserable looking little branch. This looks 10 times better, and we're going to get decorations. You're going to be able to have these lights and put them around your base. This is really cool. Yes, it's not the big content drop, but it is something. And this is probably the worst of what we're getting in terms of new features in this December update that should be hitting relatively early. Devs later on explained we are going to be seeing Peep.r 1.5 coming in the December update, as well as the return of Cozy. So there's all sorts of buffs we're probably going to get. It's more likely food and water, but we know that from certain pieces of furniture already, like the Scorpion bed, that you do get a defense buff and a stamina buff for the whole day. So it looks like they just want to see how it goes, chuck in the Cozy system now. And I'm guessing there won't be too much more pieces to decorate, but we will be able to now see what pieces give us what kind of Cozy level. If you don't know what Cozy is because you never played the first one, basically decorate your base, make it look nice with different furniture, signs, and even build pieces, and it raises your Cozy level, and that usually unlocks extra little skills or perks, whether or not it be a mutation that you can carry more stuff, or even, I think, yeah, it was pretty much just buffs for you for food and water. And Peep.r was a bit odd. They're talking about like, it's not going to be Peep.r looking through our hands anymore. Instead, they want it to be part of the Scabby somehow. And that says to me that we're not going to see maybe the Buggie's damage types and stuff just by looking at them, that we'd have to maybe use the Scabby. I hope not. I think maybe more it could be that we've got to upgrade it and maybe it will just ping up with like a binocular on our arm instead. I mean, go figure. I can understand being a bit more technological, but if something ain't broke, I don't see the point in trying to invest in that right now. But yeah, I really do hope it means they're not going to just have bug stuff that you only see in the actual scab, because that would be terrible. They're also upgrading to Unreal Engine 5.6, so that should offer better FPS. But from my experience and seeing other games struggle, and we know Grounded's still a bit off with some of its performance right now, there are issues with upgrading some of these engine grades. Like, there can be problems with them. So although it may improve FPS, we may find a few more issues, especially if you're running on a lower end PC or maybe the Xbox Series S. So yeah, I don't want to be negative here and go, oh, it's all going to be broken, but just pointing out previous Unreal Engine updates, which aren't really the fault of Obsidian just yet, they have been problematic. And none of this is going to be as part of a PTB, it's just going to drop in early December. So you'll get the brand new holiday tree. We're going to get Peep.r mode 1.5. We're going to get cozy system and some hopeful big improvements that don't necessarily break anything else. And then they spent a good portion of the stream talking about different concept arts. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. I love seeing this stuff. Yes, we know development takes a while sometimes for updates. So in between that, show us what you were working on. Show us why something didn't work and then why you came to the conclusion to do something different. They went through all of these pictures and stuff, which I've sped up a little bit. I'm going to take screenshots of them all and post them in my Discord in our Grounded 2 chat, so come and join. But I love hearing about it, and that's what most early access games do. It feels like Obsidian have kind of dropped the ball a little bit because they didn't really do this too much in Grounded 1, but they had the devs on more because of COVID and stuff. They were basically at home, jump on the stream, talk a little bit about Grounded. But with Grounded 2, it has maybe got also the problem of expectations being larger. It's got more people even more used to early access games than they were before. They've seen what other games do. So while most people might be grumpy about updates not happening quick because for some reason they think they're all live service games, most people understand content takes longer, but you just want to hear and see a little bit more interaction. This image right here is what the actual Ladybug Buggie is going to look like when it does arrive in early January. I'm still a little bit like, you're not going to show some screenshots? Like, this stuff is coming in literally 5-6 weeks. But okay, small steps. We've got some new stuff to be shown at least. And yeah, it does look really cool. Obviously gone through a whole bunch of iterations and there's so much to unpack with this. They basically inadvertently revealed that black ants are definitely coming back since they're listed as some of the ingredients to use to craft for some of their early versions. We could potentially be having a pumpkin leather. That was again talked about by Marcus. And it does look like we are going to be using chrysalis or some sort of larvae kind of pupa. Again, similar to Grounded 1, but this time it looks a bit larger, more for the big butterflies that we have with the caterpillars obviously in the gardens as well. But for the saddle at the moment, it does look like it is going to be made out of, yeah, pumpkin pieces, some of that brand new pupa potentially, lint, obviously rope being added to the game, now we've got tier 3, and just usual kind of weed stems. And by the sounds of things, the turrets might shoot things like water and sap, and it does look like this is going to be focused on single player for the moment, but they're not dropping completely the idea of having it as a co-op turret in the future, but something they're going to revisit, maybe with new saddles. So this has been confirmed now that in the future, mounts will have different types of saddles, giving them maybe more use, or maybe just even more different looks. But for this one, they're talking about it being a grass kind of harvester potentially. So I love this idea. I think this is the way to go. I mean, I still want bugs to really be unique and have all these kinds of abilities, but it'd be cool if some of the kind of more mundane stuff you could use your Ladybug for is collecting resources and then use it for battle with a single turret. A few other things they're still working on. They're definitely looking still at being able to move bases somehow, and obviously we won't see that for a while. Every base creature from Grounded 1 will return for Grounded 2. And while I don't want to be in early access forever, it does look like they have got maybe something in mind, although they did say it will finish when it's really ready to go. But 2 years, just like the original, sounds like a good safe bet. Also, a couple of things where they're reducing the cost of certain items might actually see in the upcoming update or in the winter update, things like pebbles in pathing. So that was it for the slideshow, and they didn't really show anything else off. Like I said, some people don't want to be spoiled at all. They don't want to hit any info about the update. They just want it to hit and get to experience it firsthand. I get that, but I still think there's so much room to talk about systems we know about if you've been a big time player Grounded 1, like the Cozy system, like Playgrounds. Moving on to that, it doesn't feel like Playgrounds is actually going to arrive in the January update. Marcus and Chris alluded to it maybe needing a bit more time, as they said that it is going to arrive sooner than it did in Grounded 1, but didn't confirm again that it should be part of the winter update, which is meant to if you look at the actual roadmap. Previously in a live stream Q&A, they'd said that Playgrounds won't have that many new additions. It will be pretty much the same from Grounded 1, but we definitely want to get it to you. But then Eric did say in this stream that they are looking for feedback. So if you're a Playgrounds map maker, make sure you go and put what kind of changes you want to see with Playgrounds mode in the Discord. But yeah, that says to me they've realigned or changed stuff. And I can understand why. With a new engine upgrade, Grounded already not doing that great with performance still in certain parts. I could well imagine they'll just get an absolute siege of new bugs and issues with people complaining about their playgrounds not functioning properly. And so they really need that aggro if they're not giving anything new to get players maybe a bit more excited for it. I still think it should be something that's definitely added as soon as they can. If it does arrive in the winter update, then obviously ignore this. But yeah, they didn't actually confirm and they kind of, skirted around it. This idea of replayability is a big talking point. Some of you guys have complained that the game doesn't have enough replayability. I kind of agree. But you could say that about Grounded 1. You could say that about Enshrouded right now, even though it's got a massive amount of stuff. Once you've done it once, do you need to keep replaying it? Some of the stuff that does keep people coming back, of course, or busy grinding is things like the mixers. And Chris did say they're looking at a temporary solution so that people will be able to grind for things like trying to get gold cards from the orcs, or maybe just get more raw science from completing the mixers. And that come 1.0, they'll have more of a mechanic explained in it in-game why that might actually be something that works. But at the moment, they're looking to add something temporarily. Didn't say when that was going to happen, but that is something they're looking at for people to have a bit more replayability. They also said they're definitely obviously adding new build pieces. They understand there's a big build contingent out there and that's something players love to do. I would argue against that though and say it's not what every player wants to do and it definitely needs more work. Like I know people don't even care about Playgrounds mode. You never played the in Grounded 1, you just want more other content. They can't maybe satisfy everyone, but I definitely feel like they should move forward the plans for buggies, and they gotta implement some sort of shiny system for bugs. If you add creatures that you can collect and ride, the biggest feature out of them is getting new variants. Look at Ark, look at Conan Exiles, look at Power World. All these games are massive on customization for your creatures or being able to find rare unique ones or get different coloured ones by breeding them. Now they've never explicitly acknowledged any idea of shinies, but they're more talking about, like I said, different ways with saddles to add them to the game. And a lot of the leaked stuff that I've shown off in the past hints that they were definitely working on this very much before early access and maybe making it a bit harder to get some tames. Actually having to feed them or chuck food down and stuff. But it's just such an obvious thing to me. It cannot be that hard to go and retexture bugs you've already got in the game. Give us a chance to get a silver ant soldier, an all black all weaver or all yellow one. Make it tiny, just like certain gold cards or certain trinkets, 0.1.5% of chance of getting it, making people go and have to hatch a billion eggs to hopefully get one. That would keep people, actually who are really hardcore lovers of Grounded, even more interested in the game, I am sure. It's what makes games like Ark and Power World so playable and replayable, is because some people really love that kind of thing. So when you combine all that replayability to things like mixers being able to be redone, yes, more building features coming, and then Playgrounds mode being added and hopefully some new stuff to get people a bit excited about remaking new maps and stuff, Grounded 2 could have a lot more replayability than Grounded 1 ever did. But I can't lie, I want all of them things to be added to Grounded 2 as soon as possible. They did also mention a few other things like the tease they showed of the woolly aphid. They'll be doing stuff like that again for sure, and they're always going to put little secrets or hints about what else. Like obviously I explained to you guys that you pointed out there were loads of toxic pools in there, so we went deep on that one. And it does sound like after Christmas they are going to be more attentive to giving us some sneak peeks of stuff or showing work in progress and explaining, talking about it a bit more. So I can't fault that. That's exactly what I've been saying to them. I reckon some of them probably watched a few of my videos because it was literally verbatim. I need to get a good interview with Marcus or Chris and have a good old chat. I did do one in LA, but it got lost somewhere. So yeah, sad news. Let's not go hate the devs and stuff just because an update isn't arriving when we hoped it would. Sounds like they are recognising that some of the community want some more info about what's going on with the early access journey. And they're not afraid to reprioritise depending on what they kind of see as something more interesting or more important to be added or worked on. So, a new update coming soon. It'll be for everyone in December. There will be no PTB or testing for it. It simply will just launch. PTB means Public Test Branch, which you can access on the Xbox Insider Hub normally, or PC Beta Branch. But January's update, the actual full content winter update, will have a PTB. So it will go live only on that platform for everyone if they want to go and download and try it out. And then it will go live for everyone a few weeks later. And that's where we're at. It's going to be pretty quiet in terms of grounded news after this little update. Fingers crossed, even with the next 6 weeks, and some of them might be off a little bit, they'll have scheduled some tweets or some social posts showing a few things. And who knows, maybe it'll leave some stuff we can find in the data files. Make sure you come join Discord to see some of that. And like I said, all the pictures from this video today. I'll see you at Bags soon.